hesitation. Got me going crazy. Keep it moving. I'm tuned in to True North Racing. The podcast that you need if you got the need for speed. John Morrison interviewing guests in the industry. Hey, short track, stock car racing. Gotta get it hype. Saturday night under the lights. Hear the engine rooming by. Smell the gas and feel the vibe. Going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing. Let's go.
Welcome back to the True North Racing Podcast, guys. I'm your host, John Morrison. Joining me this week as our co-host is...
I'm Megan Mitchell, one of the drivers of the number 73 Pure Stock at Delaware Speedway.
And I'm Kaitlyn Wallace, and I'm the driver of the 45 Mini Stock at Delaware Speedway.
Kaitlyn, since we haven't had you on the show since we announced that the band was being back together, but instead of being on the driver's seat, we're all coming onto the True North Racing Podcast. How's your off-season been?
It's been good. It's been fun. We've been doing a whole lot of nothing. We didn't do much with the race car till the last couple months of the off season, and then we actually started playing with the hot rod that I have. I don't have it. A hot rod that I might drive in practice. And so we got that put together, and I got to practice it up and down my driveway. And then we finished working on the mini stock and made it all race ready for this year. And it's been horrible.
Yeah, that first night out wasn't the best one, eh?
No, I was running times a tenth of a second faster than the pure stock.
At that point, I would say like you should have just sorry to anyone who's listening right now, but we had Kaitlyn's boyfriend Dale pop up behind her with a cat. If you guys want to see this clip, it might be on YouTube, not now because we just saw the cat's anus. So Jesus Christ.
Then he runs.
This might just go on TikTok.
Welcome to the Delaware show.
Anyways, you may as well just signed up for the pure stock race at that point, unfortunately. But yeah. It's frustrating. We did talk a little bit about it that night. I saw you up by the tech board there, and I was like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, because obviously being with the CVMs, I can freely walk, but I feel like if I walk too far, I'm not getting the coverage that I need of the club.
Well, yeah, I park so far away from the CVMs too.
Come over to the dark side. Like,
no, because the dark side's scary with people over there.
Are you calling me scary then? Like,
no.
But the season hasn't started off the way you wanted to. You pulled the motor last Sundays, and we missed you at Motorama, that's for sure. That
I wish I could have been there.
I was gonna say it was a lot of fun, and because we didn't have Megan on the show last week, when we recorded with who did we record with last week?
Was it Cole Quinton last week?
Cole Quinton, yeah. Jesus, I was on the show and I forgot who was on. But I wanted to talk about, Megan, how'd you feel about that day? How'd you feel about coming on to doing a live taping of the show at a freaking Motorama car show?
It was really cool. I mean, you probably caught on when you asked me about the whole victory lane thing, and I almost cried. So it was hard to keep my emotions in check because it was live, and I'm like, don't cry. But like, it was really cool.
It was a lot of fun. The time that Megan came on the Sunday, we talked for about an hour and a half, and there was times I'm just like, I don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. At one point, we brought up lift the visor, and there was actually a couple that stopped, and the guy turned and looked and was listening to us for a few minutes. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We had obviously the peanut gallery and your mom and dad, and bless their hearts, they were good sport it, because like because I didn't have a timer going, nothing. And when Greg told me, he's like, oh, it's about an hour show. I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, we got, I'm like, oh, what time is it? They're like, oh, you guys were up there for an hour and a half. I'm like, excuse me?
Anything?
No one said nothing. Like, there were times where we brought up Peterborough. We talked about Oshwegan. Delaware, I think we were brought up at one point. Like,
we were all over the map, to be honest. Like,
but you know what though? That was a lot of fun. And I really wish you were there, Kaitlyn, because next time we get an opportunity, we're going. I'm making sure all three of us go, because that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
mhm.
I really wish I could have went. And like, I forgot to mention earlier when you said about the off season, but like, I totally forgot. It was coming up to race season. It was an absolute crap show, because about like maybe 2 weeks before practice came, my whole family, Dale, me, and then my parents, all ended up getting COVID.
Oh man.
So we were stuck for like a week, not being able to do anything in the shop. And the car had so much that needed to be done to get it ready for practice. And then my parents ended up getting COVID after Dale and I, and it was a long haul. And even now, like, my dad has a horrible cough, and I mean, you can hear me, I'm hacking pretty bad too when I get like overwhelmed and stuff. So it's not a fun thing. But yeah, it really threw a loop into getting ready for race season.
Absolutely. I know Megan had it there just a week prior to race season as well. And
Yeah.
luckily for me, I had mine all the way back in January, so I got mine out of the way early.
We didn't want to do that. We were leaving it last minute.
Why not, right?
Cutting it close.
Yeah.
Felt like the right time.
Oh yeah.
But how was your guys' weekends?
It was a weekend.
Love it. I'm so enthusiastic about it.
I had a long day at the track yesterday, with still trying to figure out my car and trying to race people and learning my car again and figuring out its setup, plus having the engine problem. And then I was just downright emotional, so that was fun. And then today we spent the day at my brother's. Well, we went to Dale's parents in the morning, which was nice to see them. We haven't seen them in a long time because of COVID and then racing. And then we went to my brother's to spend Mother's Day with my mom. And then we finally met my brother's fiance's mom after like 7 years. So it was nice. What did you do, Megan?
I switched it up and went to the dark side. I went to Merrittville for some dirt racing. So it was pretty cool. Finally get to get away from Flamborough for a bit, but not really get away because I sat there with my phone in my lap watching Race Monitor. I have it set so that every time Kate's on the track, it tells me. So I sat there and I watched the mini stocks, cheered on Kate. Of course, I had certain pure stock drivers under my favorited drivers or whatever it is on Race Monitor, and watch the pure stock, watch the stats, watch some dirt racing while I was at it. So it's pretty cool too, because I got to finally meet Tina Ronning, who races in the V6. I think it's a pure stock class at Merrittville. So finally get to go check out some new tracks. It was different.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's Merrittville's a beautiful track. It's and their pizza cannot be beat.
So good. And then I found out
Actually-
that they're open 7 days a week. So I'm like, okay.
Well, that's
That's-
the funny. That's the funny part, because on the 21st, the next time we go to Flamborough, Jack and I were talking on our way home tonight, and we're just like, oh, like, it's like, oh, Saturday morning, can we do some, just the two of us? I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you want to do? I don't know. She's like, I don't really want to go to the falls for the morning. It's like, but I wouldn't mind going to Merrittville. I'm like, I mean, it's kind of like we're Merrittville, might as well go check out the falls and then come back to Flamborough, because I gotta be back there for the CVMs. And I was like, I think Oshwegan's running that night, like on the Friday night. And she's just like, oh, maybe we'll find something to do Friday night. I'm like, well, if you really want to go to a dirt race, Oshwegan's open. And she goes, what? I was like, yeah. And
I think we're going that night. So
are you?
yeah. So let me know.
We gotta talk about it. Me and her gotta talk about it, because judging by the schedule here, it says pit gates start. I can't even tell here. Racing gets underway at 7:30, which should be enough time for me to get out there. That's 3 hours from the time I'm done work. But I don't know. Well, we're gonna make a decision closer to. We might even we'll see, we got to see what gas prices are like at that point. At the time,
Mhm.
we may catch a hotel or something in Brantford, or make our way back to Hamilton and grab a hotel there for the night, and that way it's just, we're not traveling as far. We can relax a little bit. We can get back to home essentially a little bit quicker, and
Mhm.
be ready to go for Flamborough the next day.
That'd be all right.
Absolutely. But we're gonna before we get into some other topics here in our open segment, roundtable talk. I don't know what the hell we're gonna call this yet, but let's I'm gonna do the Jomo Media rundown real quick. Whereas both these ladies know that we on Fridays we post about where our Jomo Media drivers are gonna be running that weekend, and on Sundays we start posting it around as early as I can on Sundays. And find out where everyone finished and start posting where they finished on our social medias. But right here on our show, we also do have our Jomo Media Driver Rundown, and we let everyone know exactly who finished where on the weekend. So in the pure stock division, Alex Stewart finished P4 and P11. Cameron Thompson finished P10 and P9 in their pure stock features at Flamborough. Jeff LaFlamme blew a motor in first practice up at Sunset. Our lovely Kaitlyn Wallace here finished with a pair of P6s on Saturday, where Roland Goodfellow finished P7 and P8. Madison Tienkamp up at Sunset, finished P14, and Sarah Gianni. I don't know. I've got to figure out how to pronounce her last name, because I don't want to keep butchering it. She unfortunately did not start the feature, but she did run both her heat races. So I'm very proud of her for getting out on track and trying it. And hopefully from here, she builds up the confidence to come back out again. In the super stock division, we had Dan Archibald finishing P4, Nick Tooley finishing P8, and Brandon Feeney P12 on the night. Kaitlyn missed it. Well, one of the fun things it has happening on Motorama is because Feeney, if you ever watch a show called Boy Meets World?
No.
Oh, I feel old. I feel so old. But anyways, Boy Meets World, there was a guy on there. His name was Mr. Feeney. He was the school professor, essentially co-raised these kids. This is the group of kids he was the teacher of for years. And one of them had an older brother, and he essentially had this thing called the Feeney call. So he would stand there and he'd walk out, because they were neighbors as well. So he'd walk out, he's like, Mr. Feeney! And then Feeney, Feeney, and stuff like that, and just holler. And of course, with Brandon Feeney being at the show, that's how I ended up getting this Liquid Molly hat that's sitting right over here, because I had the best one throughout the show, and I hollered it too. I was not afraid. But I don't even know where I was going with this. That's the oh yeah, because we were talking about social media driving.
Rundown.
But that was so much fun, and but yeah, it was just, I gotta throw in a Feeney call every now and then because of him. So which I'm hoping to bring him on the show in probably end of July or August. So that should be a fun one. Maybe we'll have to see what happens going forward with that. Anyways, that was our Joe Media rundown. But one thing we wanted to do, because May is known as Mental Health Month, and both these lovely ladies that we have with us, they've opened up on this show. They've opened up on the driver's seat, and we know Megan Mitchell is a ambassador for Lift the Visor. You know, Kaitlyn Wallace, she's told her story on our show before, and I wanted to bring them both on. Megan's going to talk next week about her side of mental health, but this week we wanted to talk to Kaitlyn about hers, and I think you have some stuff prepared. Am I right?
It's sort of. It's not really something I can like prepare.
That's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Something I want to start out with when it comes to the mental health is, if you are ever struggling, it is important as hell to talk to people and ask for the help when needed, because dealing with this alone is not fun. And I did that for years, and then I got the help I needed, and then I was alone again for a bit, and it's not fun and it's scary. People don't like to talk about mental health because they think it makes them weak, and they think it makes them look, pardon my language, but like a little bitch. And so there's such bad stigma against mental health in a way that it's a weak point when really it's a strength. You not only get to live every day doing everything, but you have to do it fighting your own brain. And in my mind, it's taken me a long time to think this way, but in my mind, it makes you stronger than the average person, because you are fighting today's society and your own damn brain, who's telling you you're not good enough, who's telling you that you're not worth it, who's telling you that you shouldn't even be on this earth anymore. I personally have been fighting with mental health since I was in grade 5, maybe grade 6. I never understood what it was back then, and obviously now that I look back, I understand. So back then, I just thought that I was just a scared, nervous person, and that I was just a socially awkward student in elementary school. And it wasn't until I started getting bullied constantly that it started kicking in that I was depressed. I started self-harming at a very young age. I took it as a relief, and it helped me take the pain out of my brain and put it somewhere else, because the pain in my brain was too much. The words that people were saying to me, the way they made me feel, they all made me feel like I wasn't worth it. And so I couldn't handle the overwhelming feeling of that in my brain. So I took it out on myself. And it's not a good way to do it. I know that. But once you start, you get addicted because it takes such relief. And so it's hard to quit. Going into high school, I was able to find better ways to cope with it. But of course, as any addiction, I relapsed all the time. I have a bunch of scars all over my body. I used to be super ashamed of them. Whenever someone would see them, I would hate it. I would be miserable and not want anyone to ever acknowledge them. But now I live every day realizing that it's just a reminder of what I've been through. That people thought that they could take my power away from myself with their words. And those scars may be proof that I struggled, but it's proof that I'm still here. For the longest time, I had a crutch on some people, and I never got good help for a while. And so when I had went through a really bad spell late 2020 and through 2021, I learned that I really had no one. And because I didn't get the proper help at the time I should have, I was really screwed. And so I started getting my life together finally after a lot of bad decisions and a lot of bad options that I had went through in my life back a year or so ago. I made a lot of mistakes I'm not proud of, and I was involved with a lot of people I'm not proud of either. But it led me to a rock bottom I didn't know I needed to hit. These people thought that they could destroy me, and they thought that they could ruin my reputation and ruin friendships, and instead they made me hit the rock bottom where I attempted to take my own life and put myself in a hospital for 2.5 days. And instead of that being the end of it because of them, I came back out and was able to rebuild my entire life. I now have amazing friends, and I am part of this amazing podcast. And I have an amazing boyfriend who truly tries to support me as best as he can and stands behind me no matter what I go through. I have a lot of trauma responses to a lot of things, and he understands everything I do and the way I react to things, and he helps me a lot. He understands it, and he's patient with me. Being beaten down by people when they know that you're already mentally unstable isn't fun. And if someone feels like they need to go that low to do something like that, they're the bad person, not you. Just because you're the one that has the mental illness doesn't make you the weak person, doesn't make you the bad person. The person that feels like they need to pick on that person that's already beaten down by themselves is the weak person. Anyone out there that's struggling mentally, whether it be seasonal, whether it be situational, or whether it be genetic, it's hard. And it's definitely not something you should go through alone, whether that be a therapist or a friend or family or a spouse or whatever. You should not be alone. And if someone is scared to open up about this, I want to be able to tell them that it's scary at first, but it's worth it. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here today. It's almost been a year since I put myself in the hospital, and it was a really scary time. I never thought I would get to the point in life where I decided that a handful of Tylenol pills was a better choice than breathing. And putting myself in the Emerge was a better choice than breathing. So I just wish people would feel strength in themselves to open up, because I repeat myself every time when I say this, but getting help is so much better than being alone. And I know there's always those photos on Facebook, but truly, I would rather listen to 7 hours of venting than having to see an article on Facebook of an obituary because someone took their life. Mental health is an ass, and it ruins so many people's lives. It can be simple as anxiety, depression, or it can be as dark as bipolar or borderline personality disorder. There is so much to the spectrum of mental illness that it's not something that is so obvious like schizophrenia or bipolar. It can be something so small as anxiety, even though that is not small. But people think just because, oh, someone has anxiety, it's just a little thing that they have to deal with. It's not. They don't realize that anxiety is constant thoughts in your brain that I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this person in my life. I'm not strong enough. I'm not. I went through this yesterday at the racetrack. I had a mental breakdown because I felt I wasn't strong enough to be a race car driver. I felt I was too sensitive because I don't have a whole lot of friends on the track anymore. And it was because of actions I made by choice, and I can't take them back. But I don't have any more friends on the racetrack, but a few people. And so when I got beat on, I took it extremely personally and I broke because of anxiety, because it made me feel like, Kaitlyn, you're not strong enough to be a race car driver. You're too sensitive for this sport. Everyone hates you. You have no friends. Mental health isn't a joke. It's not something that someone can just joke about and make fun of. It's a serious problem, just as serious as cancer, just as serious as being physically disabled. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not serious. And my favorite thing that I see posted around is, you say you want people to talk about their mental health, but when they come to you, you don't want to listen. But when they're gone, you say, well, I wish they spoke up. They tried. And some people don't want to take responsibility of the fact that they're the reason some people have tried to take their life. And most people have succeeded. I'm just one of the few lucky ones that it didn't fully succeed. I'm sure I will have long-term consequences over having 20 plus Tylenol pills put into my stomach and liver and everything, but I'm still breathing, and there's not a whole lot of people that get to do that anymore. So when you decide next time to take advantage of someone because they're mentally ill, or you try to bully someone and they take it a lot differently than an average person, maybe you should step back and think they have a lot more going on in their life than I know. Step in their shoes and try and think of what it's like to deal with the 24-hour torment of your own brain, your own thoughts trying to destroy yourself. Just because someone is constantly tired doesn't mean they're lazy either. They are dealing, once again, with their own brain for 24 hours a day. Their brain doesn't sleep. They will have nightmares because their brain hates themselves so bad. But people never want to accept that. So anyone like me or Megan or John or anyone, because they're already fighting themselves and now they're fighting you. And I want to say to anyone out there that is struggling, I am always open on any social media, on text, on call, anything. If you have an issue, I would rather listen to you nonstop than have to hear that you're in the hospital because you tried to take your life or that you succeeded. It's not something to take lightly. This is a real thing. And people like when it's mental health month or Bell Let's Talk, because they're like, oh yeah, I support this. Well, I'm all gung-ho that, yeah, I'm here for you to talk to, but when you try, they're not. People need to take this seriously and stop being two-faced. And I don't really care how many people will listen to this and get offended by it, because I'm speaking the truth and I'm not afraid to tell my story. And I'm not afraid to talk about the crap I went through and that what put me in the hospital. I will not be silenced about my mental illness. And anyone that knows me from my past know how badly I've struggled. So I don't like that people struggle alone anymore, because I did that and it's not fun. So yeah, that's my take. And to the two-faced people out there that say that they're there for people, and then when someone tries, they say, I don't want to listen to this, you're just a crybaby. Screw you. It's not fair on people that don't have a choice on the chemicals in their brain being imbalanced. They're not crybabies. They're warriors who just need a shoulder to lean on. End of story.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, Kaitlyn, for sharing. Oh my God. You had me up over here being choked up, and
Trust me, I tried not to cry.
I'm sitting over here just trying to just to keep it together. That was one of the things why I wanted to bring up about this, because I'm a big supporter of mental health and to talk about it. You know, Kaitlyn, you and I have talked about it multiple times, you know, off camera, just you and I, and talked about different things, you know, and you're right. It's not a choice that someone has, that the chemicals in their brain are imbalanced, but it's listening to people's stories, because that's what we're all about. Compassion. We're all about being there for our fellow human. And if we're not there, then who is? Right? You hit the nail on the head there with the whole, you know, I'd rather listen to you talk for 7 hours than read an obituary. I preach that all the time. I tell people all the time, I'd rather listen to you talk for an hour and leave feeling better than listen to an hour eulogy at your funeral. Because at the end, you may be free, but your pain moves on to your parents, your family, to the people who love you. And for you to still sit here today after everything, you know, you're right. You're a warrior. I don't even have the words to say right now, because I'm trying so hard not to freaking cry and get choked up here. Because when I suggested this, that we talk about it, I essentially just gave you guys like, here's a topic and go. I was not expecting that. None of this was scripted. Anyone listening, this was not planned. The only thing that was planned was to talk about mental health, because it is Mental Health Month, and all three of us are big supporters of it, big advocates for Lift the Visor, and mental health means a lot to all three of us. And just like Kaitlyn said, if anyone is struggling, my inbox is open on Jomo Media, on my personal account. If anyone is struggling or needs to talk, my inbox is always open.
I can preach to that because I remember spending hours last year just sitting on Zoom bawling
Yeah.
because I was getting treated like I was trash and I wasn't.
Yeah. There were times where we just sit and talk or even not talk, and I'd just be doing other stuff. And then next thing you know, you would just start talking about different things. But because there's times where I'm unsure of what to really bring up, where I'm very much a listener. What I try to do is I definitely try to let you speak your words onto me, however you're feeling, and essentially bring them onto myself and then roll them off my back. So that way, whatever you say, whenever you're done talking, you feel relieved. You feel like you've essentially silenced the demons, even for a day. And I hope I did that when we talked last year, Kaitlyn. I truly did. I truly do hope that it happened where you would talk for, hour or so, and it would just roll off my back, and that way it's gone, it's locked away, no one's gonna know. Right. And someone needs to jump in here before I start crying, because I
I can say that you did really help last year.
yeah.
Even just you just sitting there doing stuff, getting ready for your True North racing or something, just sitting there, and I just sat there and cried
Yeah.
because I was at such a low point where I felt so alone. And just being able to have someone even just virtually to cry on, it made the demons shut up for a while because I wasn't alone for once.
Yeah. Like I always tell you guys, my inbox is always open. You guys have me on every aspect. I think the only thing you guys don't have is my phone number. So like, you guys know I'm always available. My phone's always open. It's never shut off unless I kill the battery. But other than that, like, it's always on. So like, anyone who reaches out, you're in a safe space. You're in a area where you're not going to get judged. I want you to feel accepted. I want to take whatever is going on in your guys' side and roll it off my back, so that way, like Kaitlyn said, is essentially silence the demons for a while. Keep the demons at bay, because we're at a point where we're losing people left, right, and center to mental health. And even if the three of us can stand up and show our support for people, that's, it doesn't matter if it's anxiety, doesn't matter if it's, depression, and anything. We're here to listen. We're here to talk. We're here to be there and support you, because that's essentially who the three of us are. Really, we're all here to, you know we're all here to make the world a better place. And even if it's one person at a time, that's all that matters.
It's one less person gone.
Exactly. But next week, where Megan and I, we're going to be having, we're going to talk about Megan's side next week on the show. And I swear, if you make me cry, there's going to be consequences.
I'm gonna make myself cry.
But once again, Kaitlyn, thank you for sharing. It was something I know we needed to talk about because of it being Mental Health Month, and I felt like this is something that we needed to bring to the forefront, especially with our connection to Lift the Visor.
For sure. Like I said, I'm not scared to tell my story.
Yeah.
I don't care who it hurts because it's the truth. what I went through, no one knows but me, because it's my mental health. And so I will gladly go to the rooftops or the mountains and scream my story if it's going to save even just one person.
I don't know where to go from there. But, you know, scream it as much as you want, because the more you talk about it, the more people are going to listen. The more people are going to be on the other end and realize that they're not alone. Because no one is alone. No, there are people out there who listen. And you got probably three of the biggest ones here to sit here and listen. So, like I said, if anyone needs to talk, my inbox is open. Megan's inbox is open. Kaitlyn's inbox is open. Reach out to one of us. More than happy to sit down and listen and talk to you guys for a little bit. But Megan, I'm looking forward to our chat next week about that, because that's gonna be something else as well. I can already feel it now. I already feel like next week I'm gonna have to have a box of tissues next to me, and it's gonna
Try not to. I mean, I feel like Kate's is a lot more touchier, but
hey, every story is different, but we're all
exactly
the same.
Yeah.
Right. I think we're gonna jump into why don't we see what so we're gonna move on from this for the week, and let's bring in our guest, Cody.
Sounds good to me.
All right, guys, this week's guest on the True North Racing podcast is Cody Coburn. How's it going, man?
Oh, not too bad. Just living the dream, you know how it is.
Absolutely. How's your off season been?
It's been eventful. I haven't done anything to the car until about 3 weeks ago. Tucked her in the trailer, knew we didn't have to do much this off season, so we just kind of left her in there until recently.
Nice. And so you race at a Delaware Speedway, right?
Yep.
What made you get behind the wheel of a stock car?
Oh, well, it kind of goes back to my dad used to do it. 8 weeks after I was born, we were down in basically family trip down to Speed Weeks. He used to race all that stuff late, and then kind of what I got into as well, the supers back in the day. Oh, they were named differently, but so racing's basically been in my family. I'm like fourth generation at Delaware.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of history, let's put it that way. But I kind of, when I was 7, since I was around it so much, I was like, my parents took me to Wonderland and I watched it. And on the way home, I was like, I want to do this. So it kind of just had the itch as a young kid. But I knew I wanted to get into Delaware one day. I took a break when I was like 24 to go to school and stuff like that. And then I built my car as well.
Oh, nice.
During that time. So we're more of a built, not a bought kind of program here.
I think Megan and Kaitlyn can both attest to that with their cars there.
Yeah.
I think that's about the same for Kate and I too.
We don't have a huge we have no sponsors, to be honest, so it's all out of pocket. It's a good thing I work a good job.
So here's the thing. Right now, how can someone get a hold of you if they want to get onto your car?
Well, you could go to my Facebook page, Cody Coburn Racing, and then as well on social media, I have like Instagram and the Facebook and stuff like that as well. So, and then Twitter as well.
All right, look at that, guys. If anyone is looking to get onto the side of a super stock down at Delaware Speedway, hit up Cody Coburn. So you said yourself, you're fourth generation. You've been going since you were a young kid.
In diapers, yeah.
I think at one point all of us were like that as well. But that's that. So obviously being a fourth generation, going since you were born, what was it like growing up at the track for you?
It was pretty cool. I remember, funny story, back when I was a little kid, I somehow burnt my hand and there's videos of me sanding my dad's race car with a cast. So it's like I always helped out, and I remember one time he hit the wall pretty bad. His hood went over the fence at Delaware, and I actually went and grabbed it. I ran down the hill and got her. So I've always been around it.
Nice. And that's Delaware is a fantastic track, and I've either Megan or Kaitlyn there gone to it.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. This season, come on down.
You guys are missing out. Delaware is such a great track. They got the hill that goes down the backstretch. But it almost seems like the front stretch is very flat at the same time. So Cody, what's that feeling like for you? I've talked to a few guys who race at Delaware, but like, what's it like for you feeling that?
Well, for me, like I never really I like the drive off of 2. I could never get my car to handle into 3 and 4. Although last season we couldn't get my car to handle at all for the most part. Start a lot of nights on scratch, which was fine, but at the end of the year it took me hitting the wall to get the car to actually go well. But handling wise, like it was a big learning curve for me, because I'm going from a QRC 500cc to something that big. So it took a lot of learning. Couple times I looped it in practices, but everyone does that. But it was a fun track so far, and I'm excited for going on this new surface. I was there 2 weeks ago when they had the practices, and it was pretty cool to see all the cars use the outside new groove.
Yeah, with that new groove coming in, it's I love the upgrades that they've done to the track. It's great for the track. It's been much needed.
For sure. Even my dad said that it's like the original surface. So like what we raced on now last season is what he raced on.
Yeah. And of course you guys are going for your first race this coming weekend. And we set off screen that I think you even said it just recently that you guys hadn't touched the car all winter until 4 weeks ago. And now we're getting ready to go. I know at the end of last year you had to replace the front bumper.
Yeah.
You've gone back. You got the bumper. You're putting it back together. We go racing this week. Are you feeling any jitters? Are you feeling any off-season pressure to do better this year, or like how are you feeling going into the race week?
Well, I want to finish the race at the end of the day. It's first race back. Everyone kind of hopes for a clean night. I have a few goals this season because we ended up really well my last race last season. I felt like I wanted a little more out of the car, but the crew chief and I had a little disagreement about it because we just got the car back from McCall's and we didn't want to touch it. So understandable. We had a little disagreement, but now that we got the sway bar put back in, so I have a little adjustment, or we just leave it the way it was and gonna take it easy at practice and warm-ups, and then hopefully we'll get a good finish. But my goal is to win a heat race at least this season, and then finish top 10 in the feature if I can. Yeah,
there's a lot of tough competition.
It's down jam-packed with talent, to be honest.
I've seen a lot of guys who are heading down that way this year. I know you're gonna have Carson Nagy in the field this year, and he's a tough competitor. Kaitlyn's very well aware of that. Yeah. They're cousins, so I feel like a lot of times there's family rivalry there as well. Between the two, just a little bit, yeah.
Just a smidge.
And he's a pretty decent wheelman, I have to admit. Like last year he won the championship at Flamborough in the Super Stocks. Now he's gonna take his talents down to Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved Delaware. Delaware is a great track, and it's such a driver's track too.
Yeah, it's super unique too. Definitely, you can't. You set your car up for it's one side of the track. It's not going to work in the other. It's kind of one of those. It's a unique at the end of the day.
I think Kaitlyn and Megan can attest that as well, because I think Flamborough is a little bit the same way, where both turns are a little different, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are not my favorite.
I'd
rather 3 and 4.
I can like fly through 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like I'm complete new, never drove a race car
Just
before.
turn left and hope for the best.
That's what I do.
You know, so let's jump it all the way back to the beginning here. Now we know you started young. How young were you when you got first behind the wheel of a stock car?
I was 7 years old, and like little Ray Murnau, I raced at Grand Bend. I'm one of the Grand Bend graduates. I raced basically Junior C, Junior B, Junior A. I skipped the J car division, and I went to the mini trucks, and I also did the 9-horse division as well. And then
now the 9-horse division, what that was the like the junior sprints, or
they were like a little bit bigger than the micro sprints.
okay.
Same kind of deal, like aluminum wing on the side, but 9-horse Honda is what was used for it, and those things could fly.
Especially with Grand Bend being only I
Yeah,
think it's a quarter-mile track.
Yeah, it was. I was lucky enough to race a little bit on the old configuration, and then
hold
on the
up,
new
hold
as
up.
well.
Hold up, wait a minute. They changed. Okay, so when did this configuration happen? Because I've
It was
only
a
ever
very long
noted-
time ago it happened. It used to be like super small, like you were in it and then you were turning.
Yeah.
So it was a super small track, and then they when Brad took over, they ended up making it bigger and everything like that.
All right. So
And I was actually one of the first ones to ruin the new fence.
how?
How? Well,
I don't know why, but like wrecks fascinate me so much.
So
And
what
especially
happened
when-
was, go ahead.
No, go. I want to hear the story first.
So I was following some guy, and I basically launched over his tire and hit the catch fence 360 and then back on my left front wheel, and my chassis was like this. So I had to get it reclipped. And then that season as well, it was just an unfortunate season. I caught fire. My fuel line broke after hitting something. And I was standing in the infield waiting for them to come bring the fire extinguisher. So I've had my mishaps of flips, especially in the QRCs and stuff as well. But accidents do happen. It's just how you rebound from them.
And so going forward, how were you able to rebound from it?
Like to supers now? Or do you mean just in
Just
general?
a wreck in general? Like, how did you rebound from?
It
from a
doesn't
wreck like
really
that?
scare me, to be honest. I had that situation when I was young and wrecking, and I just don't get scared by it. You know, some people, they get hit the wall at going 100 and they don't want to go in the car anymore, right? So me,
Yeah.
I was, when I hit the wall in the super stock, I was more mad at myself because that was my money. You know, and I wish that didn't happen, but I was more, you could actually hear me cursing and my mom works the infield canteen thing, and people came up to her and they're like, your son swears? And my mom's like, have you ever had a conversation with him? Every fourth word. So it's kind of, I get heat in the moment, right? I got all pissed, mad up and everything like that. So, but I honestly, even though I hit the wall, I was that going into one, I just felt like it was never happened.
Oh wow. You know, I know Megan and Kaitlyn have both had their fair shares of accidents, and you know, Megan hasn't been in a wheel since her big wreck at the end of last year. Kaitlyn hasn't been in a wreck in a little while, eh?
Keep it up.
In a
Don't
couple
jinx it.
years.
About a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, I'm waiting to see how Megan reacts to get back behind the wheel. And I'm not throwing shade. I'm not trying to be, you know, an asshole towards you there, Megan.
Mhm.
But I'm waiting to see how you react in behind the wheel of a car, because, you know, like Cody's saying here, there's people who can jump behind the wheel of his car after having a wreck, but sometimes it's also the mentality of overcoming it. I believe that you're going to overcome it very well the first time out.
Mhm.
Kaitlyn has done a fantastic job of keeping it out of the wall. and I really hope it continues throughout this year.
So do I.
Because there's a time where you reckon it almost seemed like every other week.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
that's
annoying.
so, and that's nothing that we want to really see. We don't want to see Rex. We want to see you guys bounce back after a hard one. So
Yeah.
obviously now in the super stock, you're going a little bit faster than you were in those 9 horsepower cars.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference, obviously, because you said you took a few years off to go to college, right?
Yep.
So I'm jumping around a little bit here, and I just need to
All
go
good.
back a little bit.
All good.
When you started, when you were in the 9 horsepower, how old were you when you stopped running those?
I want to say, because I got out of, after the 9 horse, I went into the trucks, and I was still in high school.
Okay.
And I'm a 2010 grad, so really jogging my memory here, but I want to say I was about at least 15 still when I was 16 when I was racing there.
Yep.
Because what happened, the reason I got out of it, it was my family's always been, if you're enjoying something, keep going at it. The mini trucks, near the end, I was doing half the season just because every time we went out, we weren't competitive. Every time we went out, something happened, someone wrecked, I got caught in it. So, and then we just kind of left her. But after that, we went to the QRCs in Tilsonburg, and I raced dirt because my dad could not set up the mini truck to be loose and loose as fast. So I didn't know how to drive a loose car. I hated it. So we drove to Tilsonburg for a while, did that, won a couple championships actually in the different divisions that they have there. And then
what kind of divisions did they have there?
So they have it's basically a 9 horse essentially again, but it's a Subaru engine. And then I raced the open class, which is 500cc dirt bike engines on the QRC carts. And those things, they really fly. You can lift the front end actually when you stomp on it. So it's pretty cool.
That's always fun to hear when you just like the sprint cars nowadays, when you see them come out of the corner and their front ends are up in the air. Yeah. That brings a lot to balls to the wall there, in my opinion.
We got a lot of cojones to do that, especially when I was racing there. They were actually on an indoor track, so you're doing like 6-second laps.
Oh Jesus! So where were you running indoors?
In Tilsonburg. It's actually used to be so Chesterman Power Products is where it is.
Okay.
They used to run in the building in the back, but now they're off of they're in Cortland actually on an outdoor track.
Okay.
So I never got to race at the outdoor track that they made. I raced at Wonderland before they closed, and I set a record fastest time. So
wow,
it's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was pretty good in those carts. I just I wanted something more after I won a couple championships, right? So that's why we kind of moved up. And I didn't want to go to a bone stock. I wanted to go something a little faster. No offense, Megan. So I wanted to go with something a little more speed, more my forte. So I didn't want to really go to a late model because that was too big of a jump. So I went to the supers.
Now, do you have a goal of ending up in a late model, or are you just content with running the super stock?
I think for right now we're gonna stay in the supers, given that it's only year 2. Maybe if financially it happened down the road, but right now it's just I'm the type of person where I'll stick at something until I win.
Yeah.
So until I win a championship in supers, then that's then I'll move on type deal. But that'll be real tough. So it's baby steps. Get a heat win, get a feature win, top 10. We'll go from there on the ladder.
Absolutely. And you said you guys had some help from Mike McCall, and he's one of the best guys in the business, and he knows Delaware very well.
Yeah, he does.
He's done, Mike McCall and the entire team there, they're no slouches. Like when they're doing it correct.
Yeah, they have a lot of house cars at Delaware for sure.
Absolutely.
And Mike's always running around in the pits.
Hey, you know what? That's what makes him one of the best guys in the business.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Dave White. You guys got 2 guys down there. out your way that are absolutely crazy in how they build cars, how they set up cars. Because Dave White was with DJ Kennington for a long time, and now he's off doing his own thing. But that's the beauty of it, right? Is now we have 2 chassis builders down there, and they're pretty much running the province.
Yeah, like they're a lot of, I don't know how many right cars are in the supers. I just kind of haven't really kept kind of in my own bubble this past season with all the stuff we had going on, but I know there's a bunch of cars at the track for sure, and there's even a couple new ones this year, and even their new ones are pretty competitive as well. But from what I saw at practice,
absolutely, and it's all gonna go happening this Friday, May 13th down in Delaware. What time does the racing start down there?
7:30.
You know what? I think I can make it.
You think you can make it,
I get that at 5.
I get out of work at 4:30.
Yeah.
5, 2.5 hours down the 401.
Make it
Probably-
into.
Depends on what car I'm taking. I'm gonna do it properly, and I'm gonna get there because obviously being in Brampton, if I'm taking the 401 anytime after 3 o'clock, I'm sitting in traffic for a long time, and all the way into Kitchener, and that's not something I'm not comfortable with, as a lot of people know.
No, it's not fun. Traffic sucks.
Absolutely. Once you get
that's why I have a 5-minute tow to Delaware.
Wait, you're 5 minutes from the track?
I'm 5 minutes. I can hear the track when cars are on it. I'm that close.
That's my dream.
I know, right?
It's pretty sweet. Gas bill isn't too bad, truthfully.
Shoot, just don't even bring a trailer. Just drive the car.
I know,
down
right? It'd be
road.
sick, but the OPP would have my
Absolutely, they would.
Yeah.
Oh man, but we're looking forward to a great year of racing down in Delaware and I can't wait to see how all the transformations have taken form. And I think this year we can actually watch you guys again on YouTube or even Rogers TV, right?
Yep. Yeah, we can. Yep.
Well, I know what I'm doing Friday night.
If you're not at the track, you're doing that for sure.
Absolutely.
It's such a huge move to have Rogers come in, truthfully. The exposure is amazing for a local track. It's such a win-win situation.
Megan and Kaitlyn, they've been on G-Force since what? Well, Kaitlyn's been on since 2020. Megan was on last year, I believe. And I'm sure it's helped both of them as well to reach new heights and reach new limits with probably people coming on board.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if I'm wrong there, girls.
No, you nailed it.
No, I've had a lot of people approach me about seeing it on G-Force and everything.
Mm-hmm. And it's cool because I've got family that lives out west. I've got friends that live in the States, and they were messaging me the whole time I was on G-Force, oh my God, this is so cool to watch. I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah, it's so
all
sick.
tracks need this every weekend. It's such good publicity for drivers, for sponsors.
And you feel like more of a celebrity, I find, after not even when you're on race day, when you're strapped in the car, it's another race day. But when you got friends and family messaging you, or coworkers, or people you may have not seen in 10, 15 years from high school, and they just happen to turn on Rogers for G-Force on YouTube and they're or TV on the TV in general, and they're just like, hey, I think I went to school with that guy, or hey, I know that person. And then they get hooked, they get watching, and then they reach out to you.
Yeah.
And that's something that's great for the track, because especially Delaware, Oswego has G-Force, which does a fantastic job, and you guys got Rogers TV, and I think their avenue there helps out a lot more, because not only you guys are on the local cable station down there, it's also being broadcasted on YouTube.
Yeah. It's amazing. I would even find myself after the race night just to see if I'd go back on YouTube and watch it just to see if they said my name during my races, because there was a couple moments where I had the car completely sideways and I wanted to see if they said something, and they did, but so I wanted to see if my name was said, so.
And that's what makes you feel even more like a celebrity afterwards, just hearing your name on a broadcast, because, and that's the thing is I don't know how any of you guys feel, because I'm not a driver. I've never driven, but for even essentially like the lowest drivers, the worst drivers in your division, if they get a shout out, that's a shout out. That's still someone talking about them.
Yeah.
And I know Megan's gone back and watched her race winning video a ton. I'm sure Kaitlyn's gone
It's
back.
like posted every other week.
I know, right? There's days I'm just like, damn it, really again, Megan?
I do the same though. I would 100% do the same.
But and I'm sure Kaitlyn goes back and watches it to figure, and you guys can use it as a tool. You know,
exactly.
You guys have GoPros. I don't know about you, Cody, but I know a lot of people have GoPros to watch their driving style, but some people learn better from out of car experiences. Do you ever go back and just sit there and rewatch your races, not for the commentary of what, you know, putting the car sideways, just seeing what your car was doing at a certain moment and be like, oh, I remember that, and then make a mental note for next time?
Yeah, I've kind of done that as well. Like I have a GoPro, I just never got around to putting it in the car. Like I have the mount in the car and everything. Just race day, it was so congested with everything going on, but I have gone and seen like kind of where I was getting, say, passed or whatever, if it was in the shot, and seeing, oh, what could I have done differently or not mess up my entry or whatever I did. So just kind of it's absolutely a tool at the end of the day for your disposal and that kind of deal to watch it again.
You know, you're right. It makes it. It's a tool to help you learn, and especially for someone like yourself, this is year 2 for you of being in a super stock. Which, by the way, I know I mentioned, I don't know if you remember, but I mentioned I commented on one of your posts back when I saw that you were running 91, and I said I love the way the 9 looks, because the 9 for me is the Ray Evernham 9.
Yep.
And obviously you're running a reverse to Jeremy Mayfield's number when he was with him when it was 91. But I want to know though, is where did the number 91 come from for you?
Well, funny story. I ran 19 back in the day in Tilsonburg and stuff like that. And when I got to the supers, there was a guy already using it. So I didn't want to go to a completely different number. I'm born in 91, so I was like, you know what? Might as well just do flip the numbers back around. And I've always had the little Evernham thing as well. And it looks so much better on the 9, but it looks pretty cool on the 1 as well, I feel. Yeah,
that was this is going back for me, but there was someone in like grade 8 class that got me hooked on Casey Kane at the time. And as soon as I saw that 9, I was like, yeah, that's I had a shirt made up in high school with that 9.
Yeah.
Like because to me that's such an iconic style too, because they branded it that way, but it worked. It, you know, you saw that number and you're just like, it's perfect.
And we run Dodge body as well here.
Which I love, by the way.
Yeah, so we're one of the few. We actually this year we kind of mentioned it earlier, we got a new body for the front end, and it is a Dodge new 5-star body, but it's in 4 pieces for the front bumper because it's discontinued.
Oh wow!
So it's getting it. We just picked it up, the top half of it actually yesterday. So it's a little late to put on the car. We're gonna put it on the week that we have off after our first race.
Yeah.
And then get the car all repainted to the paint scheme for this season. So we're just kind of mucking it with the old body style right now, and it's
you actually got a paint scheme going on for this year.
Yep.
You got to share that with me. I want to see what this looks like, because I made a comment to you as well about that.
Yeah,
saying you need a throwback or something.
I am actually doing a throwback to my dad when he raced. He had an all-white car with a blue double stripe down the middle and yellow numbers. So it's kind of, he's getting up there, and I don't know how long he's going to be here left. So I wanted to do something for him. And it's kind of what's going to happen is we're going to throw her right back to the 91 New Sonorma photo that we have hanging in his office.
Wow, that's going to be an awesome shot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm eager for it.
Yeah. I want him to get down to Delaware, and when I get to Delaware, I'm coming over. I'm hoping that the super stocks are there so I can come over afterwards, come introduce myself,
Yeah, for sure.
and get a better look at that ride, because I'm sure it's gonna look real good.
Right now, it looks very Frankenstein-esque. It's the same front end that I hit the wall with. We just tinned it for the last race and slapped a whole bunch of duct tape on it. And we actually ran out of black duct tape for this upcoming race, so we had yellow duct tape and we painted it black. So it doesn't have to look pretty, but
just has to go fast.
Just has to go around the track at the end of the day.
Dad always taught me that a car does not have to look pretty. Like, we'd sit in the stands and play a game where we would pick a car and see if that car would win, and he told me, don't pick the pretty looking car, because half the time that one's going to be at the back. So
yeah, it's more distinguished if it's got some body work needing to be done.
Yeah.
All right, well that's to be fair, Megan, your dad also made sure that car was perfect every time he came back out to the track. It's
me, I wouldn't even wash my car, let's put it that way, all season long. We have Bright Side Racing that parks beside us, and every week, you don't wash your car, eh? I'm like, nope. So and now that I live in the house with the shop attached to it, I'm gonna wash my car a little more this year. So
I mean, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So how many races do you got going on this year?
I've got the full Delaware schedule, minus the invitationals. So I'm not doing APC or anything like that. I don't know about that September race that they added in, the big money one.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes by then. But I think we have like 10 or 11 races this season.
Okay.
So it's decent after the 7 that I got last season, I think it was. Yeah. I had a couple breakdowns and stuff happen, but so it'll be a good season for sure.
Oh, that's gonna be good, man. Unfortunately tonight we didn't have any fan question period. We didn't have a fan any fan questions, but it happens. It happens. I think the last time we had Kaitlyn on this show, before we had her on the driver's seat, I don't think she even got any questions in the one time. So
I got one, and it was just from Lift the Visor.
Might have been Megan though too, because
yeah, true.
But anyways, Cody, we can catch you all this year at Delaware Speedway, and we want to thank you for jumping on with us this week. It was a pleasure chatting with you. Good luck on your season.
Thank you.
And hopefully I make it down this summer. I would love to make it down and come check out and come watch you.
Yeah, I think you guys will like it if you come make the trip down.
TNRP road trip. Let's
go.
I'm down. Do it.
Yeah, we're gonna also say 5-1 Tampa here.
Oh, is it 5-1 Tampa?
Yeah, it's 5-1.
Leaf fans are not gonna like that. But anyways, anyone who's listening to this show, I can see in the background that Cody is a pretty big Tampa fan.
Yeah,
I can see his flag and his jersey back there.
Yeah.
So anyone who's a Leaf fan, when you guys are at Delaware Speedway this summer, make sure you guys boo them then.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, man. Cody, thank you for jumping on with us this week. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Anytime.
Good luck this season. Enjoy the rest of the hockey game tonight, and we'll chat to you later, all right?
All right, thank you.
All right, bye now. All right, guys. So that was our guest this week, Cody Coburn. We want to thank Cody for jumping on with us this week. It was a pleasure chatting with him, figuring out what his plans were for 2022 were. And yeah, we're excited to hopefully get down to Delaware and check him out this year. Next week on the show, make sure you guys are tuning in to Joe Media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter next Sunday at around noon, and we'll let you guys know who our guest is next week. First of all, I want to thank everyone who is out here purchasing Joe Media merch and apparel. I'm currently wearing mine right now. Some of you guys can see. I'm going to tilt my camera down. We got some t-shirts, got some hats. Go pick yourself up. There we go. Woo! Go pick up a hat, t-shirt, hoodie, and go support Jomo Media and what we're doing here. Where can our fans find you guys next time at the track?
I'll be at Farnborough. I'm down at the far end of the pit. You'll see my Dairy Queen car.
It stands out real nice. Just saying.
Especially with that green.
Yeah, we thought we'd add some more green to it because I missed my green. So
It looks good.
I liked it.
but I love my Dairy Queen sponsor, so I'm not complaining.
Megan, are you heading out to a track this weekend?
No set plans, so
So stay tuned and we'll
9 times out of 10
out.
probably Flamborough too, but just no car yet.
Oh, can't wait to hear that big announcement. But anyways, guys, you won't be finding me at a track this weekend. I have my fatherly duties this weekend, so I have my 2 little boys next weekend. So we're gonna enjoy the weekend. I know it's Jacqueline's grandma's, I think, 90th birthday this coming week, so we're taking out for breakfast next Saturday morning, and Sunday we're unsure what our plans are yet, but I hear some pottery painting might be in our future. So who knows? We'll have to stay tuned and find out to see if yours truly can sit over here and paint some pottery. That's going to be interesting. But anyways, guys, we want to thank you guys for listening to the True North Racing podcast right here on YouTube, as well as you guys also make sure you guys are listening to us on Anchor, Apple, Google, Spotify. Leave a review on Apple and Spotify. Hit that. If you guys like what we're doing, head up to the top of the post on Spotify, hit the ratings and go all the way over to 5 stars. Give us a 5-star rating if you guys love what we're doing. Also leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Let us know how we're doing. My inbox is always open. If you guys got a complaint, send it right to the big guy himself. I got no issues hearing what you guys have to say about our show. But we are always learning. We always want to get better, and we're not getting better unless we hear from you guys. So my name is John Morrison. You guys listen to the True North Racing podcast. We want to thank Megan and Kaitlyn for jumping on with us this week. Hopefully the trio will be back again soon. I'm going to love this, having you guys on the True North Racing podcast each and every week. And we're going to have a fun year. I can't wait to see you guys on May 21st.
I'll be waiting for you.
Come on down to the dark side and come see me, because I'll try and get up over there and see you at some point on that day.
Oh yeah, I'll come down and see you. Don't worry.
All right, guys. Well, we're heading out for the night. See you guys. Thank you guys for jumping on. Everyone, make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, guys, this is the True North Racing podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Bye now.
So
Bye.
Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Ayy.